Hey everyone. So if you're a summer athlete, we're definitely coming into the off season right now. You're probably taking a break, or maybe you're already getting back into training a little bit before winter really hits if you live in an area that has winter. Um, and I wanted to talk about a few things that we can do to really maximize our time. A few big levers for the off season to help everyone improve in whatever sport you're doing. And the one I want to talk about quickly here is improving one's technique. Uh, there is a technical component to every single sport, to every single modality that you do. Uh, Sometimes it's very obvious, and it gives you direct increased speed or performance, like improving your technique with swimming or improving your downhilling bike handling techniques with mountain biking or downhilling with ski mountaineering racing. That is going to clearly give you more speed immediately, and it's very obvious. People always think about improving technique in swimming, things like that. But there's also technique to what people consider simpler movements like bicycling, like riding a bike. There is a neuromuscular firing component to doing that nice round pedal stroke, and the more efficient you are at that, the better you're going to be at your sport. I posted something a long time ago. I think I've mentioned it a few times in some of these videos, that better technique and, more important, technique durability will show up, will present itself as better endurance in a long distance event. And I got a lot of comments on that and people messaging me that they never thought about it like that. And if you think about the really fit, in shape runner, for example, who doesn't have the experience, doesn't have as nice run form, doesn't have the years and years of running and experience and kind of having that ingrained in their running stride. Whereas you have the older person that has been running a lot longer, has a really good technique. It's been ingrained in them over years and years and years, but not as fit, not as fast. The lesser experienced, more powerful, fitter runner will probably win in a shorter distance event. But as that event gets longer, you're likely to kind of bet on the athlete with the more experience and better technique. Of course, there's some physiological components there as well, but you get my point. So, technique. I want to talk about a few things on ways to simply improve your technique, and I'll mention a couple quick examples, and we can get into more examples if people want to later on, or you can message me. But one way, the obvious way, is doing drill work. And so I point this out because a lot of times in season, people forego really focusing in and taking the time to do drill work because they want to get the physical work done, right? So we kind of blow through our warm up and our drills, and maybe we don't take the time to do the drill work and improvement that we should because we're in our season and we want to get the physical work done. Well, now we have the time. You can go to the pool if you're a swimmer and just spend an hour doing technique. You don't really have to do a lot of hard swimming. Same thing with running, same thing with any sport. You can just take more time to do the drill work, keep things easy, not be so concerned about the physical work that you want to do. Okay. I've done track workouts, and I've had other coaches do track workouts for some of my athletes where there was very little continuous running at all, and no hard running. It was all drill work for an hour, and muscle activation kind of stuff. And people found this to be kind of challenging. People were more tired than they were expecting themselves to be at the end. So sometimes this can be work. If you looked at that sort of bubble sheet flow chart I posted on Instagram a little while ago, the technique part, there's a technique section, and then that gets into muscle recruitment, things like that. So that running example definitely gets into that muscle recruitment aspect. Single leg drills on the bike. Take your time warming up. Do single leg drills. Doesn't have to be hard. Just I tell people to do those on the trainer all the time just to kill time. So take the time to do the drill work that maybe you didn't do before and do more of it. Okay. Another thing, obvious thing, is hands-on coaching. So if you, whether you have a coach or don't have a coach that isn't local or doesn't do some of this stuff, or maybe one of the sports that you do, they don't do a lot of in-person or video technique work with you, look for a group or another coach or maybe some kind of a program that you can do to get this. I encourage all of my remote athletes to find groups, and if there's any kind of coaching available, especially with swimming, but we do this with everyone, um, take the opportunity to do that and to get some hands-on time, eyes-on time to get some technique coaching done. So again, this might take more time. You might need to drive somewhere, take a weekend to do some kind of clinic or class. Go do it. It's totally worth it, especially if you're working on a sport that you don't have great technique in or a lot of experience with. So for multi-sport athletes, there's at least one sport that you are not good at, maybe even bad at. So take the time to do that. The other side of this, there's two other schools of thought with this. One is I like to think about doing technique work when you are fresh, or simply doing your sport when you are fresh. One of the great ways to improve your ability to do something well is to do it fresh. And I think a lot of people get hung up on the physical nature of our sport, and especially if it's a long distance sport, we want to try to do things when we're tired. One of the best ways to kind of burn in that muscle memory and to make the technique that we do have more durable is to do the activity fresh. I've mentioned this before, where I always see a lot of triathletes doing swims when they're tired, when they're really fatigued. End of the week, Sunday afternoon after a big, long, hard run in the morning, and they're super tired, and your technique's going to fall apart much, much quicker. So one of the ways that we can think about not only improving our technique, but making our technique more durable is to do something fresh. So think about not necessarily riding longer or running longer or getting more strokes in the pool, but getting more good strokes in the pool. Getting that long run done really, really well, finishing in complete control and having good form the entire way through our long run. And this might mean simply, there's a couple ways that you can do this. Take longer rest intervals if you're doing an interval workout, especially in the pool. You're not going to get unfit suddenly because you take 30-second rest intervals instead of 10. It's going to be okay. Running, walk towards the end of the run. Again, that's a super bad word in especially long distance runners and triathletes, but if we're really doing it with a purpose, again, focusing on technique instead of the hard work, it's going to benefit you in the long run. So do that long run fresh. Take an extra day off or rearrange your schedule so that you can do the sport that you're really trying to improve on when you're fresher, when you have a little bit more energy, both physically and mentally, to kind of do the task, do the modality that you want to do really, really well. The other side of that, and this is a more advanced process, a little more of an advanced tool to use. Everyone will like this one, but do the drills, do the muscle activation work when you're tired. Don't start with this, but great example is to get on the bike for your long ride and do some single leg drills while you're warming up. Go do your long ride, and then towards the end of that ride, as you're kind of coming back home, in the last 10 minutes of your ride, do some more single leg drills. And you will notice a difference, most likely. You're going to notice some dead spots in your pedal stroke that you didn't notice at the beginning, or you were able to correct really, really quickly, and now it's a little bit harder. Check your cadence when you're running at the end of your long run. Maybe do some strides or do some drill work there. Same thing with any sport, okay? So mountain biking, You go down that technical trail in the beginning of your ride, and it's a piece of cake. And then you do it later when you're a lot more fatigued, and all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more difficult to be smooth and clean. So don't go overboard with this. Don't get way too far out where you're just kind of struggling to do the thing, whatever drill it is you're trying to do. Keep it in that learning zone area where it's challenging, really makes you think, makes you work a little bit harder, but you can still do it. So a couple of different things to think about there as you're in your off season, as you go through the winter. Like I'm saying, if you're a summer athlete, then this is you. More drill work instead of physical work. Take the time to do it. Get some hands-on coaching, whether it's a program, even if it's just like an online program, or you have a group to go to, a mentor, other people, maybe have other training partners that are really experienced runners and you're not, for example. I did this when I was doing long distance triathlon. I had some friends that were really good runners. I was not. It definitely helped me a lot to run with them, talk to them, do all that kind of stuff. Incredibly, incredibly helpful. Do your activity fresh. Take some time off. Make sure you're going into these workouts really fresh so you can really focus and do a great job, right? So the swimming example I give, it's not about taking more strokes. It's about taking more good strokes. That's how you're going to get better. That's how you're going to have more durable technique. And doing it fatigued. So try some drills when you're a little bit tired. Focus on the cadence. Just think about your form, your body position. Again, whatever modality you're doing, maybe take a second. Maybe you have to run, walk, take some breaks, and then do your modality as perfectly as you possibly can. Those little kind of things can help you not only improve your technique, will give you much more better technique durability, which is going to pay you back enormously in long distance races. So train safe. We'll see you out there.